Here in America, before there was streaming, if you wanted to know about or watch British television, the best way was to watch BBC America, or have a friend in the know and watch the show with your friend Captain Jack Sparrow. But if you didn't sail the seas with Jack and trusted the BBC channel to give you the best of British entertainment, then you probably only saw stuff like Top Gear, Doctor Who, Luther, and a handful of other shows and movies. But the average American citizen would have been completely oblivious to some of the other shows the UK was putting out at the time. And that is a shame because a couple of them, as those across the pond would say, were real bangers.
Please excuse, what is funny?
So I know the title of this video implies that I'm going to talk about a show that you would have had every opportunity to watch but did not for some reason. So yeah, that opening probably didn't fit too well with that premise. But I do kind of want to start this whole shows you might have slept on thing as a potential series for the channel, and not every show on my list truly fits that 100%. But you know, it sounds better than underrated shows and the occasional British one you never would have had a chance to see before, or you know, just saying the show's name as the title, since it is from years ago and won't really have any strength or keywords in the YouTube algorithm. Without further ado, the actual show I'm talking about, as you probably read in the title, is called Black Books. It is an award-winning show that aired on Channel 4 in the UK, so it is probably popular enough across the pond, but it is pretty much unheard of over here. But thanks to modern-day streaming and the guy on YouTube that isn't afraid of copyright strikes, you can watch this show on a few different services like Amazon Prime, and again, a couple Rockstar channels on YouTube. Black Books, like many 2000s British sitcoms, either stars or guest stars actors that have become British panel show regulars / comedians, along with the occasional breakout big-name actor, and of course the few that have kind of had a spotty career afterwards, even though they did a great job on this show. The main cast that fits this bill includes stand-up comedian and series co-creator Dylan Moran, who has had ups and downs in his acting career, especially with his last appearance being in... yeah. Then there's Bill Bailey, who you will know if you have seen any British panel shows. He also appears in the occasional meme. Finally, there is Tamsin Greig, who has a longer list of roles other than appears as self on IMDb, who you might know from something like Episodes. And then a couple good cameos like Martin Short, Nick Frost, Simon Pegg, and a couple comedians and panel show regulars. Okay, enough of the useless facts that only a few of you will find interesting, and on to the actual show. Black Books is about Bernard Black, who owns a bookshop in London, and even though he loves books, he hates people and his customers.
That's right. That's right, we're having lunch. Come on in. Look at him. Look. What do they want from me? Why can't they just leave me alone? I mean, what do they want from me?
Well, they want to buy books.
Yeah, but why me? Why do they come to me?
Because you sell books.
Yeah, I know, but... Geez.
He just wants to be left alone to read, drink wine, and smoke.
After years of smoking and drinking, you do sometimes look at yourself and think...
Yep.
You know, just sometimes in between the first cigarette with coffee in the morning to that 400th glass of corner shop piss at 3 a.m. You do sometimes look at yourself and think...
Yep.
This is fantastic. I'm in heaven.
He is rude and angry with everyone he meets, except for the most part his friend Fran. He's especially mean to his employee Manny, who is the more lovable goofball character of the series.
You have to take the slip back to collect your winnings. I'll do it if you like.
All right. Now listen. Don't lose.
Three of them are constantly getting thrown into crazy scenarios that most of the time one of them caused themselves. It really is a basic premise for a comedy from the early 2000s, but the uniqueness and different comedy that the Brits got away with at that time really elevates it. There's a good amount of absolute crazy people and ludicrous wacky humor, as well as, yeah, I kind of know people like that, and grounded subtle humor.
Okay.
If you like slapstick comedy or something with a little more nuance, this show will provide it all.
Singe Bugger Cack.
Signed, Bernard L. Black.
Oh, yeah. What's the L for?
Ludwig, you know. Beethoven.
Oh, right. Why did your parents decide on,
What?
Nothing.
Every form of humor is interwoven neatly with the story being told and the characters presented. It isn't wacky, what the fuck was that cartoon humor that just kind of feels out there out of nowhere. It's more like Hot Fuzz or the later seasons of Always Sunny in Philadelphia. There is a balance of crazy, and it fits perfectly with the vibe and the world of the show. No joke feels out of place or takes you out of the moment, even if it doesn't quite land.
What's yours?
Blood. It's quite good, actually. You don't even have to drink it. You just rub it on your hips and it eats right through to your liver.
In the wide variety of jokes, however, there are some consistencies that are seen in the entirety of the 3 seasons or series and 18 episodes. Like Bernard always insulting Manny.
Show me your hands. Cooks have burns. We're cooks. I'll do it to myself. Later.
The constant drinking.
And I went, had a good time, woke up with a bit of a hangover.
Manny and Fran trying to get Bernard to socialize with the world outside the bookshop, and Bernard being an absolute asshole to the customers he doesn't want, and hating change.
Who's Gus? What lunch?
Oh, God, I'm going to be late.
Wait. Now, who's Nugent?
She won't know until you let her go to the job.
What job? How do you know Danny Spudge?
I don't. Gus does.
Who's Gus?
A friend of Nugent's.
Hello?
Who are you?
Ralph.
Ralph who?
What?
Don't play games. Why did they send you?
Look, I just want a book on tape.
What book?
Anything by James Elroy.
How's Elroy involved? Tell me or I'll jam you. Who's Gus?
Bernard, Gus is just a friend of mine.
Keep talking.
The different plays of these types of jokes are constantly changing in range of subtlety. And that, combined with the small amount of episodes, makes it so they don't get old or overly used. And although the jokes never really stop, you don't ever feel that they need to let a moment breathe. There really are not many moments that are supposed to be on the more heartfelt and serious side. The majority of the time, it's all just a setup for a joke that's happening. But the setup feels natural, and it always pays off.
Corkscrew. Manny! Manny! Manny!
Will you stop shouting at me?
Sorry, where's the cork? Your hair looks amazing. Where's the corkscrew?
If you try this out on the first episode, you will get the vibe of the show. The characters from that first season always have actions that fit that same vibe. There are no really, okay, that was odd, suddenly feels like a different show moments. Character is not sacrificed for the comedy. The comedy is built around the characters. Along with that, there is constant setup and payoff as part of the jokes. No line or action feels wasted, the scripts are tight, and the writing is good. The comedy is actually written very well for the actors playing the parts. Dylan Moran as Banner Black, as one of the creators and head writers, it's very much his style of comedy. He even shows up in his stand-up, and it's something he does very well. Bill Bailey, who is not exactly the greatest actor in the world, does very well as Manny because he has a very similar humor to the show being written and to that of Dylan. Like they even wrote a whole episode about him being a savant as a musician because Bill Bailey is actually a very talented musician, and it's pretty much the entire shtick of his comedy career.
I always wanted to learn, but my parents forced me not to. I spent hour after hour playing football, all by myself, peering in at all the other children in the neighborhood, practicing their piano.
Tamsin Craig is just an actually very talented, wonderful actress. She can fit into pretty much any part she's put into, both serious and comedic. So even though they didn't necessarily build comedy around her, she could do whatever they needed her to do because of how talented she actually is.
Show me those ones again.
These are weird.
They are beautiful. They make strong men cry in train stations. Put them in.
And while I do wish there were more episodes and think the finale felt more like an average episode than a series goodbye, it is a tight, quick watch that is enjoyable to rewatch over and over. And that is rare and special enough on its own. So in order not to have to try to break down and explain jokes, which makes them always unfunny, or to just show too many clips of the entire thing and end up spoiling the whole show, guess I'll end things here. If you're looking for a quick good watch of something you haven't seen before, especially in maybe a lull month of no new stuff, or you're in Florida and just got snowed in, well then, maybe give Black Books a try.